4, 3, 2, 1. The point is now available for capture.
We'll get 'em next time.
What the f is wrong with you people? This weapon is incredible!
Bloody hell!
Yeah, the Lock and Load. The over-under double-barrel M79 grenade launcher that allows you to shoot grenades 3 times in succession after loading the bottom barrel 3 times over. It's magic. I'm convinced at this point that anyone who still thinks the Lock and Load is bad either hasn't used it correctly, or is still holding on to the old stigmas it once had. For as long as I can remember in my, for lack of a better term, TF2 career, this weapon has always been one of those equips that has everyone asking, why are you using that thing? But this is entirely undeserved. I'm not gonna pretend it's as good as Iron Bomber or stock at all, because it kinda lacks in close range and it makes you feel like you're reloading constantly. But I only like to talk about fun weapons, so shut up. The stigmas surrounding this thing are largely based off its original form. It tried to be the sharpshooter's grenade launcher, rewarding accuracy and punishing inaccuracy. Starting with the downsides, it begins with half the ammo capacity of stock, and if you know Demo Man, you know that's a huge problem, because now you could no longer 3-shot heavies or battalion soldiers without first reloading. That sucks. Next there was plus 25% damage to self, which didn't really matter because the only time your bombs blow up in your face is when you shoot them at someone right in front of you, something you should avoid doing anyway, or if you stupidly walk over your bomb as it's about to explode. However, due to the following reason, this weapon never had to worry about the latter situation. Then finally, we've got the stat with the divisive power the likes of cilantro. Launched bombs shatter on surfaces. This makes your dangerous live explosive that tumbles about on the floor, ready to detonate under your enemy's feet, just disappear the moment it slightly touches the environment. As you can imagine, this is a huge departure from stock, as you can no longer use your grenades as a form of area denial with the ability to hit enemies around corners, forcing you to completely rely on hitting directs. So if you're a demo main used to the feel of stock and never used the Lock and Load before, until you get used to it, you are going to hate this thing. It's like forcing a professional baseball player to pitch with a wiffle ball. Moving on to the positives now, where we can see what earned it the negative opinions that back then it frankly deserved. Plus 20% damage bonus and plus 25% projectile speed. That damage increase allowed the Lock and Load to achieve 120 damage per pill to enemies. But while being a beast against buildings, it's still 5 damage short of one-shotting light classes, and the projectile speed buff helps massively with landing your nades. So at first glance, without prior knowledge, you may wonder what the problem is. Well, you see, the Lock and Load, as well as every other weapon in the game, were at one time tied to an old mechanic which is thankfully off by default these days, called random damage variance. This meant that any damage dealt could vary by a value of 15%, so back in the day you could quickscope a medic without killing them, or insta-kill a light class with an across-the-map revolver crit depending on your luck. So imagine if you took the ever so unanimously beloved mechanic of random critical hits and made it into a goddamn weapon that could still also random crit. It's no wonder why this thing was so hated. Quickly, it gained the nickname of the Crutch, said to be equipped by demo men who sucked at landing directs with stock. Even Valve realized how much they screwed up, because eventually they capped the damage per shot at 124 before saying, screw it, let's just redesign the damn thing. So then they gave us the version I love and what we have now. The general idea is still quite similar, but the problematic parts have been removed. The plus 20% damage bonus was changed to only apply to engine buildings, and that increased self-damage was removed. The only added listing is a significant decrease to blast radius. Not too important, but you're gonna notice it when there's a bunch of interlopers trouncing about your capture point and you're not damaging most of them. And now I know what you're thinking, this just looks like a heavily nerfed version. How could it at all be better than the one that could one-shot people? Well, apart from just being more balanced than weaponized random crits, they actually gave the weapon a purpose apart from making direct hits easier. Because there's one last change that they made to the weapon, but similar to my shortstop review, they forgot to list it. The lock and load was given the unique stat that all projectiles fly straight with no tumble at all. I guess Dome Man finally decided to give his launchers some rifling. Which sounds minor, but due to how physics simulations work within the source engine, this causes all grenades to fly much, much further. And in a less steep arc made even better by that increased flight speed. I mean, just think of what this implies. See that soldier? Boom! See that medic? Boom! See that sniper? Boom! See that heavy? Boom! With this weapon, not a single target is out of your reach. Literally, if you can see it, you can hit it. It might take some practice, but if you channel the old days of playing Raft Wars, arcing those bombs perfectly is just so satisfying. This also opens up new avenues for weapon combinations, since you can now utilize your primary weapon from a safe distance, like long distance demo, launching not only pipes from a great distance, but high power stickies from the clicky bomb launcher, or bomb focused hybrid knight, countering the Islander health decrease by maintaining distance, then closing it on isolated targets with a charge to claim their head. This used to be my favorite way to use the lock and load for its aggressive nature, but to be honest, at least with this weapon, Hybrid Knight kinda sucks on defense. So, when I'm on defense, I like to go Scotch Resistance. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a video on this one at some point, aren't I? Probably, so I'll make this brief. Having these two weapons combined is perfect. It's so unimaginably effective to be capable of covering all your traps from a safe distance while still being able to pressure incoming enemies. And now you're thinking, but Chief, what about the sticky bomb launcher? The sticky bomb launcher is absurdly powerful with everything. Your primary selection isn't going to change that, so it's pointless to even talk about it. But I can't explain just how satisfying it is to completely give someone from such a distance they don't even know you're there. A lot right now.
I knew that would hit someone!
But if you're somehow still not convinced to try this weapon out, maybe give this a shot.
I'm going to change a thing.
You know how I said this weapon is a beast against NG buildings? I was under-exaggerating. This thing is so ridiculously powerful against NG buildings, it is literally impossible for them to out-heal the damage. This is the time when the short circuit or a Pybro would really come in handy, because it deals 120 damage to them at any distance you can hit them from, which is insane. For example, people love to switch to direct hit soldier just to take down difficult sentriness, but that's a whole 8 damage less than the lock and load. And this time, 8 damage actually matters. I am not kidding when I say that with this weapon you can completely decimate any sentry nest you come across. And like I said before, as long as you have line of sight, you can probably hit it, unless you're on a really big map. And if you see the enemy team huddled around a dispenser to recover health, you know a giant shit-eating grin is going to start growing across your face, because that's free real estate. It's such a good strategy, it's almost a burden. I am constantly thinking to myself when playing casual, why isn't my team taking care of that sentry? If I switched to lock and load demo, I could have that thing down in an instant! But I want to play scout. Just don't fool yourself, man. Outside of utilizing Ubers, there is no other weapon that is as good at taking out sentry nests as this one. But even with all these impressive perks that the weapon has, it can still feel lacking if you don't know how to compensate for its issues. First of all, there are those times where you just can't predict enemy movement to save your life, missing pill after pill just because your enemies are moving in ways that are difficult to predict. Lazy Purple suggested raising your blood alcohol level to compensate. But I don't drink. You wouldn't really expect it, but this can downright neuter your close range fighting capabilities. Due to not having any rollers, there's nothing to deter your enemy from maneuvering however they like. So best case scenario is you round the corner, see an enemy, and quickly land 2 to 3 pipes and winning. Worst case scenario is that you miss those pipes and are forced to reload while the enemy closes distance and or unloads their weapon on you. Another frequent instance where the lack of rollers will hurt you is when you're defending the objective. All too frequently, you'll find a bunch of people standing on a point, miss all 3 bombs out of pure chance, and lament of the fact that all of them had gone to waste with no chance of damage apart from reloading or switching weapons. The final issue is that, obviously like I said, it's best at range and spots you can take advantage of sight lines. So in maps with little space, going with the lock and load may be a poor decision. But apart from the last insert the amount of time it took to talk about about the faults here. It really is far better than you'd expect. So to all you Iron Bomber purists out there who love your stationary rollers, I completely understand. Rollers are extremely useful as area denial, as well as hitting things that are beyond your reach. So not having them tends to suck. But second of all, remember to give your other primaries a chance too, because in terms of side grades, Demo's sitting pretty. Now go rain on the enemy team's parade with some well-coordinated high explosives. Should be able to hit that sentry with the right angle. There it is. Please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in game. Hey guys, I just want to say one more time thank you so very much for watching this video. I learned a lot of things from this one, like not to wear a blue shirt in front of a green screen. Look at that, it's like magic. But yeah, thank you very much for watching yet again. I'm gonna be taking a break from TF2 content, but I'm sure I'll be back. One of the things I want to do is learn Source Filmmaker. Hopefully it'll be better than Gary's mod. So thanks again. See you later.